The man had been trapped in the snowy mountains for 3 days. He was about to freeze to death, but strangely enough, instead of putting on his coat, he actually stripped off all his clothes because they were completely soaked through. Just when the man was in despair, he suddenly spotted a villa on the mountaintop across from him. This gave him his last glimmer of hope, and he cheered joyfully in the snow. To conserve his energy, he put his damp clothes back on, curled up in a crevice between rocks, and fell asleep. Early the next morning, the man woke up feeling refreshed. He drank some melted snow, and even more fortunately, his phone and radio were still working. Everything seemed to be turning for the better. Looking at the house in the distance, partially hidden by clouds, the man set off with confidence. However, after walking for an hour, he suddenly found his vision becoming increasingly blurry. Combined with not having eaten for 3 days, he couldn't hold on and collapsed in the snow. After suffering for a long time, he managed to stand up again. To prevent getting dizzy again, the man began traveling with his eyes closed, not daring to open them until he had exhausted all his strength. But the sight before him nearly made him dizzy again. Where he had seen the house the night before, there was now nothing at all. Only then did he realize that the house was just a hallucination caused by hypothermia. But the man wasn't willing to give up. He decided to continue toward the summit, refusing to stop until he reached the top. Little did he know that this very decision would become his only hope of escaping this mountain. When night came, the man found a cave to rest in, but there was no food inside. Even worse, he discovered his phone had died at that moment. As he dragged his exhausted body to lie down and rest, he suddenly heard wolves howling nearby. To escape with his life, the man had to endure his physical discomfort and walked all night using a makeshift walking stick for support. But soon he had to stop because of severe pain in his legs. When he rolled up his pant legs, he discovered his socks had been stained red with blood, and his calves had swollen to a dark purple color from the cold. The man finally realized something was seriously wrong and began pushing even harder toward the summit. Just then, he suddenly heard the sound of a helicopter overhead. He was instantly filled with excitement, desperately shouting for help toward the sky, but the surrounding forest was too dense, and the rescue crew couldn't hear anything at all. The man watched the helicopter fly away in despair. He had exhausted all his physical strength and collapsed helplessly in the vast snow-covered wilderness. How could he possibly escape from this hopeless mountain?